Um, you, that's great. That's a great question. Yeah, definitely. Not easy to prepare for. I've done that a few times in the past, but just an exceptional player. You know what I mean? As good as there has ever been, I think, at the position. Super talented, super smart, tough guy. So it's a lot of work preparing for him. That's probably the best way to say it.
How much strain can he put on a defense? I mean, he can get outside the pocket and then throw it, 100 yards down the field on a dime.
Yeah, he has every attribute, is top tier, so he can put a ton of strain on you. Obviously everybody has to do a great job plastering down the field because he just kind of kept so many plays alive in his career and been able, like you said, to get the ball down the field. But not only that, he really does a great job of throwing on time. The rhythm pass game is as good as there is in the league too. So he's just, you can't say enough good things about him because he really is an incredible player.
What's been the key for you guys' red zone defense to rank fifth in the league?
Yeah, I think really the guys, their communication, their ability to settle down and just keep playing through the rhythm of the down. Knowing that, understanding where you are in the field, and in some ways it can be advantage defense. In terms of the field being oftentimes 3 times as wide as it is long. Just understanding how to play, what type of routes you're going to get, and anchoring down in the run game was something I thought we did a good job of last week in San Fran, especially early. They did a good job in their opening script and moved the ball down the field. And the guys really locked in and did a good job on our 3 red zone snaps down there.
Jack Kaiser and Lane stepping in last week. How impressed were you by just their readiness for that moment?
Yeah, I was very impressed by both of those guys because, football's a game like that, as you know. Your number may get called, and you're up there, you're ready to go, and they were prepared. Credit to them, and then really a credit to their coaches. Like Anthony Perkins, I think, has done a great job with Ray, Lane up to this point, and then same thing with Tim Luger, who's done a great job with Jack Kaiser all throughout the spring, summer, and everything. Jack's been ready to go. So,
where does Travis Hunter need to improve at?
I think, like everybody, I was just having this conversation with our guys. We just need to be more detailed as a whole defensively, and I think that's something you would say. I probably would say that every season I've been coaching. And I think most coaches would say that, but that's really it. I could say that about us as a unit, and you're working through that. I talked about this in the past too, how it's a long season, and every week you're kind of finding out what you do well, and you start to gravitate towards those things that your players do well. And I think that there's a bunch for all of us to improve on.
Mahomes has run the ball a lot more this year than he has in the past at sometimes. So does that change kind of the equation with how you prepare for him this year?
Yeah, I feel like he's always been, pretty active as a runner. I know he is running the ball a little bit more, but in past games he's done a good job of that against us. When I was in Miami, we played him a bunch of times, and I thought he always did a good job keeping plays alive and trying to get through the middle of the defense or getting an escape hatch in the pass rush, finding a way out of there. So it really does add another difficult element to a defense, for sure.
And the speed as well that they have at the receiver core this year with Xavier Worthy back, is that a different challenge than maybe you've faced so far?
Yeah, I think he's got elite speed. He's a special player as well. Really, I think he's a good route runner. I know he got banged up early in the year, so he adds a whole other dimension to them. When he came back, and he obviously makes it difficult. Years back when they had Tyreek Hill, another guy could really go. He kind of brings that element to their offense.
You guys lead the league in takeaways. How much do you credit that to the intentionality out on the practice field? Like if you watch every position group is focusing on punching, focusing on getting the ball out. How much do you credit that?
I credit the players and the coaches with that because it's something that the players take very seriously. And even just culturally in the room, that's something that they want to be about, and they put a lot of emphasis and effort into that every day. I talked about that when I first got here, that we want every drill to end with a tackle or a takeaway, or else by definition we don't feel like there's a finish to the drill. It's not a good enough drill. So they've spent a lot of time emphasizing entry level on the tackles, finishing on the tackles, leg drive, same foot, same shoulder mechanics, all that stuff. And then when we're not doing that, there should be a violent finish to the play. whether that's, you know, ball in the air as a defensive back or back seven guy competing in the pass game or attacking the ball at the end of a run or catch. Yeah, that's something I would credit the players wholeheartedly with that.
If Trayvon can't go, how do you replace what you get from him on the field?
I mean, we expect Trey to, you know, he's a tough kid, so if he's available, I know he'll do everything he can to play. But, you know, like we did the other day, the guys that went in there, I thought did a good job, you know, and didn't let go of the rope, and they produced for us. So that whole room is, that's a great room, and we feel like we got a bunch of good guys in there. And they did a good job stepping up for him last week when he had to exit the game. So.
What did you see in Devin that maybe others didn't?
I don't know so much what I saw. I just think that he is a great fit for what we do. To me, he's just like he's a true 3-down linebacker. There's just not that many 3-down linebackers in football. And some guys are 3-down linebackers in a certain way, and some are 3-down linebackers in another way, meaning that some guys may be out there and, hey, they do a bunch of stuff in the coverage, you know, they're kind of a lighter guy, you know, off the ball all the time. But, you know, he's a guy, I've said this about him in the past, is that he has a very unique skill set in that he could play on the edge, you know, early down. If you lined him up, you know, outside of an open 5 technique on a tackle or a 9 technique on a tight end, he can do a really good job there, setting the edge, zone drop and all that stuff. He can play off the ball early down because he sees it pretty good. He can run and hit. He does a good job in the pass coverage. And then if you want to use him as a pass rusher, he has the ability to do that. So I don't think there's that many guys that have that unique skill set where they're a 3-down guy. Like I said, he's able to cover, he's able to rush, blitz, and he's able to set the edge, you know, early down, play off the ball. So that's a multiple skill set. And I've said that in the past here too, is that like that's what we really value in players, and he definitely has that. And he's worked so hard, that guy. I mean, just everything that he does fundamentally every day is showing up in the games, and he really has done a great job building up a lot of that in his skill set over the course of the last few months.
How much harder will it be for Josh if Trayvon's not able to go? Do you expect the Chiefs to kind of concentrate on him?
Yeah, I think Josh gets a lot of attention every week. You know, he's used to that if that does happen. And he's done a great job for us because he's really been relentless in the rush, and he's done a great job in the run game. So I think he kind of just goes about everything as business as usual, you know, and I think he'll give us great effort there on Monday too.
You mentioned cleaning up some of the details for this defense that maybe have been messed up at times
Sure.
during the first couple of weeks. I mean, the production's been there, it's looked good. How much, I guess, room for growth is there still in this group?
I think there's a ton of room for growth with us. I think the players feel that too. You know, there's stuff there that can be better. You know, we can be more detailed. You know, as a coach in my position, I can be better, and that's all we're all fixated on that every day. Just how can we be better? How can we get it better today, from now to the end of the season? That's the goal. And as a coach, that's basically how you're evaluated. You know, how much can your players improve in comparison to the competition over the course of the season? That's how we should be evaluated. That's how we're trying to approach it.
How do you evaluate the play of the outside cornerbacks so far this year specifically?
Yeah, I think they've been super competitive on everything. They made some great plays for us. You know, I think Tyson's made some great plays for us down the field. You know, some of those plays are, I say this all the time in our room, that you know, there's 5 or 6 plays in every game, right, that are going to dictate the outcome of the game in the pass game. Because there's going to be 2 guys at the point of attack 5 or 6 times in a game, right? And who wins those one-on-one matchups, you know what I mean, those 50-50 balls, or who violently finishes at the point of attack, whether they're going to snatch the ball out of the air as a receiver or us violently finishing, separating the man from the football, that's going to dictate the outcome of the game. And I think our guys have been really, really competitive with that. Have we won every one of them? No. But we're working to do that every day, and I think they've given us great effort that way. I think Jordan's done a great job with that as well. And you know, good to have Monteric back. I think he's a great competitor too. Travis has given us some great reps that way, and Jarian. So yeah, really pleased with all those guys to this point.
Thanks.